So as awful as the title sounds, anxiety can make you feel like you're dying every single day. Hell, every hour, every minute, sometimes every second. That's how severe my anxiety was for a period of time. Now, I had it for 5 years, and don't get me wrong, there were still days where I felt like I was dying whenever I was going through my cycles of fearing cancer and stuff like that. But this was really, really, really bad for me in the beginning when I had heart anxiety or cardiophobia, and I had this fear of sudden death. So that kind of goes back to that. You fear that this is your last second on this earth. And imagine feeling that way all day, every day, for weeks, months. And for me, in the beginning, I didn't really get any relief for the first year and a half. Now, a lot of that was on me, but I didn't have any acceptance. I went to the doctors, was told that my heart was healthy. I had testing done, and it was still my choice not to accept it. I did a lot of Googling and a lot of research, and all my symptoms matched up with a heart problem. All of them. The chest pains, fast heart rate, the high blood pressure every time I checked, the high heart rate every time I checked. I had every type of chest pain that you can imagine. The ones that they characterize as heart problem chest pains, right? Or heart attack chest pains. I would have a lot of symptoms on my left side, which if you look that up, it's going to try to tell you that you're having a heart attack. And mind you, whenever this first started happening to me, I was about 21. So yeah, even though I was in decent shape, I was young, I didn't meet any of the criteria for having a heart attack. I wasn't living a healthy lifestyle. I was partying with my friends and stuff. But still, my chances of having a heart attack were basically zero, just like every doctor told me. But I would have numbness, tingling, you name it. And of course, I had all the other symptoms at that time too, because when you're having panic attacks multiple times a day, you're going to have IBS, you're going to have nausea, you're going to have the diarrhea, you're going to have tension and pain all over the place. But I was really fixated in on my heart-related symptoms, the tension in my chest. And every time I had a panic attack, I thought I was dying. So this was happening every single day. I didn't really get any breaks. The only time I got a break, it seemed like, was if I was able to fall asleep, and that's a whole different story, a whole different video. But briefly, I had anxiety-related insomnia, so I wouldn't sleep very much for a day or two. Then I would crash for 12, 13, 14 hours, and then just rinse and repeat. Just this vicious cycle of not getting sleep for a little while and then having to crash because your body has to do that to survive. And it's miserable. So when you think that you're dying every single day from whatever set of symptoms that you have, there's a few things that are going on. One of them is you're constantly in a cycle of panic or anxiety attacks. So what does this do? It unfortunately gets us into this vicious cycle, which turns into day after day after day, because your hyper awareness and your hypersensitivity to what you're feeling goes up. You are basically every day, if you're worried about death, you're like, what's that? What's this? What's this? Is this it? Is this it? Right? You are focusing. You are practicing listening to your body. So you develop this superpower that you don't want to have, right? So you get very good. Guys, you don't even have to check your pulse with your watch or your fingers. You can check it just by sitting here feeling it. That's how good I got at it. You can guess your blood pressure. Right? You can feel pains moving around. You can feel food going through your digestive system. You can feel any twitch, any tingle. And your nervous system's already overstimulated. So you're feeling anxiety symptoms, and some of the stuff is just normal bodily functions, but you're feeling them even so much more now. So your hypersensitivity, right? Your hyper awareness, it goes through the roof. So that's going to make your symptoms feel so much more intense. And guess what? We're also responding in fear. We're terrified if we think that we're dying every day. So we are reinforcing the symptoms. We're telling the subconscious that the symptoms are needed. And guys, guess what else is happening? If you're having panic attacks all the time, your stress hormones are very, very elevated in your body. The cortisol it goes through the roof. And if you have that elevated stress hormone in your body, it's going to cause a lot of different things. A lot of these symptoms, a lot of tension. And I'm glad I'm talking to you guys about it, because if you don't have really bad anxiety, if you haven't felt this way, you're just not going to get it until you go through this situation. This is why I feel like we deal with a lot of ridicule. We don't get a lot of sympathy. It's hard to hold down a job. It's hard to hold down a relationship. It's hard to take care of your family. It's hard to be present. And that's one of the big side effects of thinking that you're dying every day, guys. Just think about it like this. And this is exactly how it was. Why does my job matter if I feel like I might die today? You know, why is meeting this deadline, right, important if I feel like I'm going to have a heart attack today? Right? It's hard to be present for anything, even with the people that you love, your family. Some of you have kids, some of you have spouse, some of you have boyfriends, girlfriends. You know, we have family functions and things like that. Guys, we're not even there. We're not even there. We're in an environment or a situation where, you know, we would usually be happy and having fun. You know, it could be a barbecue, going to the movies. It could be anything, guys. Watching a movie with your friends or what. It could be anything. You are not there. Your mind is in your symptoms, thinking about your symptoms, thinking about your funeral. I mean, I would have days where I literally would just sit there and think about my funeral. What's that going to be like? Is anybody going to show up? What songs should be played? I mean, this is the stuff that goes through your head when you think that you are dying each and every day. So it's so hard to be present, and it's like it seems like everything else doesn't matter. Sure, you love your family and friends, but in your mind, it's like, well, they're going to be here. They're going to be here. Or it makes it almost impossible for us to help other people with their problems and their needs, to meet their needs, because it's like, even if it is like an issue, right? But at least you're not dying like I am. I'm dying. So it like unintentionally, and I don't know like if this is the right word, it may not be the right word, but it's almost like we unintentionally become a little selfish because every day is going to be our last freaking day. And it sounds nuts to people that haven't been through it, because it's like we feel this way every day. We've been to the doctor, we've gotten checked, but we are just having severe struggles with acceptance. And it sure as hell doesn't help that it seems like every time we get through one set of symptoms, or we can finally come around to accepting a certain set of symptoms, that we get delivered new ones. And that's because the message is changing. Those old symptoms may not be happening because you don't have as much of a fear, or you got that reassurance from a doctor that you needed, and you're done with it. It's like, okay, I'm going to let go of that. Now you're able to kind of ignore it because you can accept it. And then boom, like now instead of the chest pains, I have headaches. Like, oh my God, what's this about? Am I going to die of this, and you start to feel like you get caught up in that cycle. You focus again. Your sensitivity and your awareness goes up. Your fear response makes the symptoms needed. It becomes a habit of the body, the subconscious. And now we go through this ordeal for 3 months. You know what I mean? Where we go get the testing done, and then maybe if we finally accept. But guys, in between these cycles, and this is kind of where I'm trying to turn to a solution, in between these cycles, you have to change your behaviors. What did I do last time? You know what I mean? That was wrong. Well, I jumped on Google really quick. You're going to always see horrific crap, guys, if you jump on Google. And if you aren't in a better place, which you aren't, if you're having new symptoms, you're going to catastrophize when you see the worst stuff, and it's going to get stuck up here. Best not to do it. If you're that concerned, if the pain's that bad, if it's that consistent, or whatever symptom it is, go get checked out. Way better than jumping on Google and then planting seeds up here. But I would do that each time. You know, are you hyper-focusing? Right? Are you listening to the symptom and directing tension and energy into that one spot to keep it there? Yeah, I was doing that each time. All day I was just, what's that? Instead of trying to move on and to give it time and to make a choice to be rational and to be positive and to say, well, it could be something that's not a big deal at all. Maybe my stomach just hurts because of something I ate. But no. What if it's cancer? What if it's that? So you have to change your behaviors in between these cycles. When you get out of a cycle, be overly thankful to your subconscious and get to work. Don't just take that for granted, like, oh, I'm glad that's over. But if you didn't change this up here, the catastrophizing problem, if you didn't change, you know, your fear of, and I say change because you don't have to fully get rid of the fear of death. I mean, we're supposed to some degree fear death. But if you don't change your relationship with it like I did, and guys, what I did, by the way, and I won't spend a ton of time, it's, again, another video for another day. I became more afraid of not living than dying, okay, in a nutshell. I was able to develop a healthy fear. So now I am more present and I am going to get the most out of my day. I'm going to maximize, and part of me maximizing my day, guys, is helping people like you. I was able to turn this into something else and to be here for my family and my kids and to soak up all these moments because I don't want to leave. I love being here. I love life. I love experiencing these things. It's okay that I don't want to die or that I fear death, but I'm going to save it for then. I'm not going to waste my whole entire life every day thinking like, oh my God, what if this happened? What if this happened? I'm not going to. But I guess, guys, it's easier said than done when you're in the cycle of hypersensitivity, overstimulated nervous system, and you have this habit to receive these symptoms. So this is the hard part. What you have to do is you have to be consistent. You have to expose. You have to have a routine. And guys, you have to build evidence that you're healthy and that this is not going to be your last day. I've been to the doctor this many times. I've had all these tests done. I work out every day. It scares the crap out of me, but I work out every day. Something would have happened, all right? It's not going to happen when I'm sitting on the couch. It would have happened in my workouts. Okay, I worked out 21 days in a row. No, I'm not about to suddenly die for sure. I can at least say that because I would have suddenly died during. That's why exercise is so important, guys. It's not easy, but if you avoid it and you don't know what your body can handle or what it can take, right? I'm not saying you're not going to ever be triggered, but you're never going to really fully know, if that makes sense. You need that evidence, perfect evidence that you're not going to suddenly die. And that's what a lot of you are afraid of. Like, am I about to have a stroke? Am I about to have an aneurysm? Am I about to have an embolism? Am I about to have a heart attack or just cardiac arrest? Is something of that nature going to happen, right? So if you're struggling with this, guys, you are not alone, and there are tons of things you have to start doing. You got to build the routine. You got to have structure. You got to collect evidence and journal the evidence. Like the other day, I was distracted and my symptoms went away. Okay, disease doesn't go away just because you're distracted, right? Last night, I got a full night of sleep and then my symptoms kicked in after about an hour or two. Disease doesn't work like that. I'm not suggesting to do this, but there were times, obviously, in my life, because I've shared this on this channel, that I would drink beer and stuff to numb my symptoms. Don't advise it, right? But it did it for me. I had a huge piece of evidence right there that I just never put two and two together with. You know what I mean? Like, I never accepted it as a piece of evidence. But it's like, my heart disease goes away when I have a six-pack. It doesn't work like that. My cancer goes away whenever I drink some beers with my friends. No, right? It shut this off up here, and then I wasn't getting the signals. The problem is the next day is horrific, so I don't recommend that at all. But there's a lot of things that go into recovery, guys. You're going to make it through today. You're going to make it through today, and you're going to be here tomorrow, and you're going to wake up with air in your lungs and more opportunities, because the majority of you that are watching have gone to a doctor and they've cleared you. So I feel like with confidence, if you're this far into anxiety and you've been watching me for a while, you've been told that you're healthy. At least you're healthy enough to not have a sudden death episode. But I love you, and it is hard thinking about death every single day, thinking about your funeral, thinking each moment is going to be your last. I know what that is like. And I just want you guys to know that you're safe here on this channel. I love you guys so much, and I just want to thank each of you for watching this channel. It does get better, I promise, but we have to think months and stop thinking days. Stop looking for something like that, you know what I mean? And the things that usually help us like that are not good for us anyways. Alcohol, drugs, right? It's not good, right? So it takes time. The things that are best for our recovery, they're going to take time, and you're going to feel uncomfortable doing it. So if you're ready to put in that extra work, guys, there's resources down below. If you've never tried therapy, there's a link for online therapy. You can do it on the phone. There's my course down below, Elite Anxiety Bootcamp. It's changing lives. You guys have seen the reviews. And one-on-one calls with me. If you want to do that, something you're interested in, you can email me and I'll send you all my information. But I love you all. I love you all. Keep fighting, guys. I'll talk to you hopefully tomorrow. All right, bye.